Lecture 1 in Didactics for Master 1 students, Applied Languages. In this lecture, I would like to demonstrate the relationship between the linguistic insights concept and language teaching. In fact, the understanding of the linguistic insights helps the teacher to design his or her own syllabus, since language description is the way in which the language system is broken down and described for the purpose of learning. So, introduction, the aim of linguistics, long and parole, competence and performance, communicative competence, communicative language ability, strategic competence, and of course, the conclusion. Of course, in order to understand the strong link between linguistics and didactics, we have to explain the followings, for example, the aim of and objectives of linguistics. The aim of linguistics is to provide us with explanations about language. Chomsky 1975 indicates the following. One reason for studying language, and for me the most compelling reason, is that it is tempting to regard language in the traditional phrase as a mirror of mind. According to Chomsky, linguistics is a science, since it provides us with explanations. This leads us to reality, which means any scientific theory is related to a model, which is an idealized version of reality. In the words of Widowson 1990, the main question is how to relate models to reality. The aim of linguistics. The main concern of linguistics is the study of language, the study of words, verbs, nouns, and how they are used to construct sentences. Since linguistics is a systematic study of language, the teacher designs the content of his course from the findings of linguistic descriptions. Therefore, knowledge of the linguistic structures provides the learners with rules to produce correct grammatical sentences. Moreover, any teaching materials require the teaching of the system of the language. So what do linguists examine? Long and parole. These two notions are different. Long is a potential ability. It is social. However, parole is an actual realization, and it is individual. For the socio, long is knowledge in the abstract. Parole deals with acts of speech. By acts of speech, we mean acts of communication. Competence and performance. Competence is the language system and performance is the actual behavior. Even if performance is projected from competence, it doesn't correspond to it. And this is according to Widowson 1996. Simply because what we know cannot be equated with what to do. I'm competent means that I know the rules of grammar and I'm able to form correct grammatical sentences. But is this enough? Learners need more than grammar. They need more than the linguistic form of language. They need a certain ability to put language in context. Therefore, knowledge of language involves first a grammatical knowledge and how it functions. The ability to make knowledge in actions. But how? To learn a set of grammatical rules and how to use them adequately in real context. The notions suggested by Widowson 1990 are the perfect examples, such as the notions of knowing and doing and the notions of usage and use. Again, linguistics helps us to understand that languages have commonalities in structure, use, acquisition by children, and how they change. It helps us to analyze language form, language meaning, and language in context. Communicative competence. Communicative competence refers to learners' L2 ability, the ability to form correct utterances and how to use them appropriately. The concept was coined by Himes, reacting against Chomsky's views. However, it was not used to inform pedagogy, but to serve as part of developing the linguistic system. This is a model of language presented by the theory of communicative competence. For Himes, communicative competence is more than knowledge, and it involves judgments, what grammar will allow, what the mind will allow. For Himes, competence is not only grammar, but also use, ability for use. This opposition has been adopted by those who seek new directions toward the communicative era. So communicative competence is based on criticism of Chomsky's linguistic competence. Now, let's talk about communicative language abilities. Others reformulated Heim's notion of communicative competence, Bachmann 1990 and Pachman and Palmer 1996. They come up with two components of communicative language: language knowledge and strategic competence. What is knowledge of language and what is strategic competence? Knowledge of language, grammatical knowledge, textual knowledge, functional knowledge, and sociolinguistic knowledge. Now let's define knowledge of language. By knowledge of language, we mean knowledge of vocabulary, morphology, syntax, and phonology. Textual knowledge, how to structure and organize language into larger units. Functional knowledge, knowledge of manipulative and imaginative functions of language. On the other hand, strategic competence, the process of assessment, goal setting, planning, control of execution. By assessments, we mean evaluating the communicative situation and engaging discourse. Goal setting, how to respond to situations. Planning, what elements of language and background knowledge are required. Control of execution, organizing the required element to carry out the plan. Finally, we can say that strategic competence serves as a mediator between background knowledge and the external context. As a conclusion, any teaching material requires the teaching of the language system and how to use it in real life for effective communication. It is very important to relate pedagogic possibilities and linguistic theories. In this lecture, I tried to demonstrate the relationship between the linguistic notions and language teaching. In fact, the understanding of the linguistic insights helps the teacher to design his or her own syllabus, since language description is the way language system is broken down and described for the purpose of learning. Thus, the study of language, linguistics, and that of teaching are essential to the teachers who aim to teach English as a foreign language. An effective course should be based on linguistics and pedagogical information. Moreover, learning a foreign language is not a matter of mastering an object of academic study, but a matter of learning a means of communication is increasing throughout the world. The role of the teacher then is one of the important aspects of the changes within the field of language teaching. Today, new responsibilities come among these changes for the design and the implementation of the material.